that our candidate got another offer. Good morning, and welcome back to another day in the life of what I do as a professional recruiter running my own agency here in real time. It is Friday, it is first week of 2024, and boy, are things absolutely crazy. So I have to do what we can to take you along for the ride and take you along, hopefully, through the ups and ups instead of the downs and downs today, because a lot of things are happening. But if you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate that. If you haven't heard yet, we just recently launched recruitermerch.com. If you are a proud recruiter, you are a founder, you are a hiring manager, or you simply want to support the channel, would really mean a lot. We're able to drop some awesome hats, hoodies, and shirts, things that I wear myself and things that I also use to help me attract candidates and clients in my life, even outside of work when I'm living my life. And so awesome colors, awesome design, and it feels fantastic. Got a lot to do today. About to hop in a meeting. Gonna share with you a recap of the day, what my game plan is, what my goals are, where my head's at, and we'll go from there. All right, just had a wonderful stand-up meeting with my recruiting team, and also was able to share some notes with our private community and groups here. We are coming up again Friday, weekends around the corner here, but we got a full day here and a lot of things planned. We have about 4 interviews today. The first interview is happening around 10 o'clock my time, and that should be a final round for an engineer role. We also have another second round with another engineer role that a private group member sent to me. He literally signed it a couple weeks ago. This is the candidate's now second round. It'd be amazing to see how he does there. We also have another interview with another private group member, 2 p.m. here, hoping to kind of finish off the week off strong. So again, if you're new, if you're on the fence, if you're excited about wanting to work with me, my team, and the group members, we are cranking. Things are going well, better than expected. We literally just rolled this out a month ago. We have fantastic members who joined a couple weeks ago. They already had candidates that are interviewing. We have possible offers, possible final rounds, making the likelihood of one of the members who just joined to do a split placement with me this month is kind of high. I'm not gonna jinx it. You know what happens in recruiting. You wanna be really, really, really calm with your emotions, not expect the worst, not expect the best, just see how it is, pivot and adapt to all the situations that are gonna come by. But aside from everything, my goal today, reach out to engineer roles. We just picked up brand new roles and another engineering role from one of our split partners that I'm focusing on right now that our group has access to. I'm gonna be also chasing 2 to 3 brand new clients that I'm trying to lock in with a phone call or maybe a Zoom call next week to really re-engage them, pick up those roles, get the agreement signed, and hopefully add even more roles to my team and to our groups, which would be fantastic momentum. And we got a bunch of other candidate calls today and hoping to kind of submit a bunch of them as well. And so right now things are moving very, very great, which is exactly what I want. I think a lot of people are still traveling, taking it easy. But as you saw from my previous videos, we ended last year off strong. We ended working as full steam as we could all the way up until New Year's. I was in the office earlier this week, January 2nd, a day after New Year's Day, working full time the entire week. And as a result, we're having possible offers and possible interviews happening, hopefully sometime soon, maybe later today. So we'll keep you updated. Hey guys, apologies for the interruption, but want to make an exciting announcement, so listen carefully. If you've been wanting to work and partner directly with me, we are creating for the first time a private community to let you do just that. In this group, you'll be able to access the open roles of my team and of others in the group, so you won't have to worry about not having enough open roles to work on and stabilize your business. Not just that, you'll also have access to accountability calls, trainings, private Discord channels, early access to new exciting stuff, and much, much more. This is perfect for all types of recruiters, solo recruiters, part-time recruiters, agency owners, full desk. If you are very specialized in one market or niche, or you work outside of the US, don't worry, we got your back. I believe that if you have strong recruiting fundamentals, you can also find tremendous success here as well. Candidates will have more job opportunities. Clients will have a stronger pipeline of greater talent, and recruiters will be able to make more consistent placements. It's a no-brainer. So if you're interested, please click on the link below. There will only be a limited number of spots open at a given time, so make sure you act quick. Excited to work with you directly and see you on the other side. Whoa. Just got a crazy offer with our first candidate interview today. Long story short, the client really likes him a lot, but also showed with us that there might be a couple issues. So I'm working with a global client. They have a pretty big internal recruiting team, and the recruiter that I'm working with is responsible for the Southeast quadrant of America, and those are the main positions that me and my team and the groups were attacking. One of our candidates today was being considered. He had a final round today, got some positive feedback from the internal recruiter. I hopped on the phone with them, just finished with them right now. And basically, our candidate did really well. Fantastic personality, fantastic technical hard skills that they're looking for. Everything is fantastic. The only issue is that my candidate is a reload candidate. So he's right now in Missouri, this position's in Florida, and my team and I have done such a great job in really managing the expectations and communicating thoroughly about that move to Florida, where moving to Florida is not really an issue. We've done a great job in priming him to paint that picture, to visualize life with his family in a brand new state with more sun than the freezing winters in Missouri that's going through right now. But another issue that has come to my attention that the internal recruiter shared with me is that another one of his colleagues, another recruiter on his team, at a different geographic location, reached out to the same candidate for a possible role in Kansas City. Kansas City, much closer to Missouri, obviously, than Florida. And so one big concern that we have is that's gonna really confuse our candidate, that he was focused and okay with Florida the whole time. And he's like, wow, now there's a role in Kansas City, which is closer to my family. We don't want that to retract his excitement and focus away from the Florida position, because he cannot be considered both. It's two different offices, two different teams. And right now, our recruiter and everyone else wants him to be considered for that role in Florida, which is what we tried so hard to prime him for. We also learned that the candidate negotiated directly actually to the recruiter saying, hey, initially I was looking for about 100K in Missouri, but because we're going to Florida, I'm probably looking to 130. The recruiter said, fine, that's cool. And the recruiter also confirmed that with me again. But the main issue now that I'm thinking right now is I need to get a hold of this candidate and just really understand where his head's at and really try to sell and close him on Florida. Also get a pulse check on how confused he is with this whole Missouri thing that literally just came on his radar last week. So it's gonna be, unfortunately, not an easy close if an offer does happen. The recruiter confirmed with me that there's no extra round, and the team to interview my candidate already told the recruiter to send my candidate benefits, which is obviously a great sign. So things are hoping to point in the right direction towards an offer, but we got a big like pink elephant here that we have to address and attack head on, and just making sure our candidate is not confused, because our candidate was submitted actually to the other internal recruiter's colleague by another agency. But because we submitted him first and the candidate's already being interviewed, even if Florida didn't work out, we'll still get credit for that, but that's not the point. The main point is that we need him to be closed for Florida, and the recruiter asked me that, to do that, he can ask his other recruiter to kind of pause the Missouri one and communicate that directly with the candidate to see if that can bring his focus back. So a lot of things in the air right now. I just have to talk to the candidate, get a hold of him, and just see where his head's at first, do a proper process call, and then I can share that information with the candidate, and then we can figure out where to go from there. All right, so I just got the hold of the candidate. So here's the situation. So basically, he's excited for Florida, which is great. Now, he did bring up Missouri, the Kansas City position, and as expected, and we kind of just talked about it, right? And the good news though is that he's still very focused on Florida. He's like, this whole Missouri thing, like he's like, I have family, my grandparents are close to there, so that would kind of be interesting. But he's like, if I were to continue with Missouri and that hurt my candidacy for Florida, I would just easily walk away, shut that down. And so that is exactly what I wanted to hear. And I just reconfirmed with him, like, how do you feel about Florida? And he's like, you know what? I'm still excited about Florida. I've been looking about it. I'm dreaming about it. Me and my wife were freezing in the winters here in Missouri and can't wait for the more warmer, moderate climate in Florida. So I think overall it sounds good. I'm just gonna have to let my recruiter contact know, to let his contact know to communicate with my candidate that either there was a wires crossed or they're just gonna pause that because the whole team is really considering for Florida. And I think if he hears that from his contact about this Missouri role, then it would just kind of get him back on track with Florida. And that's exactly what we need, which is fantastic. So I reconfirmed his salary. He's now looking for about 130, which is fine, higher standard of living than Missouri. His start date is straightforward, no immediate red flags, no immediate competition. Everything looks and sounds great except for this little hiccup here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just text my recruiter now and hope that they get back to us about next steps, which the recruiter shared with us. It could be an offer, fingers crossed, because they've already sent the benefits and the recruiter heard initially very positive feedback from the team that interviewed my candidate today. So that is absolutely fantastic. It's not over until we get an offer. It's not over until they sign. And as you know, if you've been watching for a while, it's not over until they actually show up on their first day, because a lot can happen between accepting and actually showing up to a brand new job in 2024. My action plan now is to just quickly text that over to my recruiter, and then we're hoping to kind of hear back from the feedback with this other candidate that also interviewed this morning for another client, another engineering role. And this one's fantastic. I think we're at 20-25%. Salary can go up to 160, 170. It can be huge. Huge. Really hoping that that went well as well. We'll keep you posted. Hello. So I just got off the phone with one of our members in our private groups. And I think one of the best things I love about the private groups is that I'm very hands-on. Like, I literally work and talk to you as if you were on my team. The private group member sent the candidate over, and now me and him are managing that candidate's interview process together as if he was on my own team. And he actually told me that he heard back from the candidate some good stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Let's three-way that candidate in. So I called the candidate directly, introduced myself, and took over that call. And this is like awesome because, again, I'm very hands-on. I generally want everyone in my private groups to succeed, and I will do whatever I can to get your candidate across the finish line as if it was my candidate. So I basically hopped on the call, and good news, the candidate had a really great discussion, no other competing interview process. His salary at 160, 170 is still the same. Now there's always something, man. There's never like an easy offer. The only other obstacle is that he shared with us that he's expecting a really big cash bonus at his current employer because their fiscal year ends in January, and he could get it in February, he could get it in March. That bonus is like $30,000. So like, of course, no one would want to walk away from that. I would by no means push someone to walk away from that. And I just kind of dove a little bit deeper and kind of talked about it. Like, so what are the scenarios? Like, I asked him, like, is there a scenario of you foregoing that? He's like, nope. I'm like, if there was, like, what would that look like? He's like, I would only accept a new offer, new job, and not get the bonus if I got another job that offered me a sign-on bonus of $30,000 that basically covered that bonus. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, what's the ideal scenario? He's like, the ideal scenario is for me to get an offer with the company that I like, but also start after I get the bonus at my current job. And he's like, that could be February, that could be March. And he's like, is there an issue to that? I'm like, look, no issue. It's really, really standard to get an offer and for people to start within 60 to 90 days, typically 30 to 60 days. Anything longer than that, as long as you have a really good reason, companies typically are very understanding. For his reason, the bonus, I totally get it. If I was in his shoes, I would do the same thing. It's January, so even if he waits till March, it's still within 60 days from now. It's not going to be a big deal. And also, I told him he's not done yet with the process. There could be one more round. We're well into the window of just reality, and everything should be fine. And he was cool with that. Yeah, I think this sounds great. This was his second round. He mentioned that there might be one more round. And I briefly also heard back from the recruiter for this brand new candidate that she's like, hey, initial kind of feedback is it's going really, really well. I'll probably know more about, the whole consensus in a couple hours from now. So I'm probably gonna have to wait for that. But I'm just really, really happy that I was able to personally talk to this candidate, establish that rapport, establish that relationship, but most importantly, just understand where his head's at so I know exactly how to navigate the closing process, and also share that with the private groups who was listening in muted at the whole time. And I think, people keep asking me, like, is this private groups an educational thing? I'm like, well, not really, from the perspective that I'm not going to teach you how to be a recruiter. I'm expecting you to already have some sort of foundation, but you will learn a ton just by doing and working directly with me. So now my private member understands how I do process calls. He understands how I submit, how I get feedback, and he can use that for his own practice, his own business to further just crush it together. So really, really awesome. And this actually private member has his second candidate with another job that we're sharing with the group later today as well. So this could be a monster month for him, a monster month for all of us. Things are happening, possible offers on a Friday. It's not even done yet. It's only like almost about 1 o'clock here my time. Still got a lot of things to do. And yeah, just looking forward to see how this day plays out. But if you are excited to pick up some swag, check out recruitermerch.com. We're gonna be doing some sporadic drops throughout the year. It means a lot, supports the channel. But also if you're thinking about joining the community and groups, we're not looking to kind of make this big. We want this to be a nice, small, intimate group that consists of really serious people like myself. If you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me in Discord, Instagram, LinkedIn. We can chat about it. And if you're excited, pick your tier. We'll obviously reach out to you for next steps. But it's been, I think, one of the biggest highlights in the past kind of week being back, not just working with my team, but also working with the groups. Got some killers and rock stars in there, and I'm just surprised by the speed that some of the guys go, almost as fast as us, which I love. That will just help us send cans, build a pipeline, and do deals faster over and over and over and over and over again. Let's see how the day plays out, but I'm gonna now stop talking, sit back here for a couple more hours until the next interview or next update. See you soon. Changing it up here with the hat. Hope you guys also like the light blue. A couple other updates. We got another interview happening right now. I hope that goes well. And we just heard the client that we were speaking about for the first job with the candidate that was relocating from Missouri to Florida. We're working a lot of variety of roles for him. We also just heard back from him that him and his team want to interview 2 more of our candidates, which is fantastic. We gave him our candidates times today and next week, and we pushed for today because obviously we want to get the interviews done sooner than later. And he responded back saying he's not sure. It really comes down to the availabilities of the hiring manager. And then he just emailed back literally a second ago saying, hey, managers actually can do it today. Can you confirm? And so me and my team are scrambling to get a hold of the candidates to get them scheduled. One is free all day and one is free anytime after 3. So more interviews on a Friday, feeling good. Everything's going well. Talked to one candidate, not gonna submit him. He's way too expensive. So gonna hold off on him probably for other roles. But so far everything's going well. No clear updates with the offer right now. No updates from the second candidate, whether he's moving forward, and just hope that, this interview and the others turn out well. So we'll see, but so far so good. Completely forgot to mention that we also had an interview yesterday. Now the interview yesterday is with a client that actually one of our members shared their clients with me and the community. And that's what makes the whole community awesome, because it's not about everyone just relying on me and my jobs, but we also encourage people to share their jobs. It's really about recruiters helping recruiters, trusting each other, collaborating with each other. Really happy that just as we launched, there are already members out there that are happy to share their clients with the group and others. And then we had one member sharing the client, one member sharing the candidate, and the interview seemed to have gone really well. And we actually just heard a moment ago, got a text from the recruiter that owns that relationship that our candidate got another offer. Oh wait, sorry, not another offer. He got an offer. Now, the thing about this though is that our candidate ideally is looking for 130, 135. Offer came in at 125. And I was able to kind of just chat with my recruiter who owns that relationship, and he's done multiple positions with this client. And he told me that it's the client's typical behavior to start with a very low offer. So I asked him straight up, is there a wiggle room? And he's like, there most likely is a wiggle room to a certain extent. I then basically relay that to the other private member who sent the candidate over, and we're been talking back and forth and strategizing. It seems like we're trying to get his candidate on the call for around 4 p.m. today, where again, just like what I did earlier, the private member will be on mute listening on the 3-way call while I drive that call. And then it's where I'm going to come in, try to collect any more information, do another quick process call, and then verbally extend the offer. I'm not expecting him to take it off the bat, nor am I expecting him to be really excited. I'm expecting him to probably push back and negotiate for something a little bit higher. And as soon as we get that, as long as it's reasonable, if he's like, I want 150, 160, that might be a little bit of a red flag. But if he's like, hey, I want at least 130, 135 cash, then I can go back and let the other private member who owns the client know, and hoping they can advocate for the candidate, get the client to come up. I'll then relay that back to the other private member and this candidate, and hoping that is good enough. Right now, the offer came in at 125. The client offers a 10% bonus. So all in, the candidate's at 137, which is kind of between the 130, 135 he wants to be in. Again, what he ideally wants, the candidate, is 130, 135 on a salary. So I think if we can toss in a sign-on bonus or have the client come up 5, 10K, we could be there. We could have a really good sweet spot. So I have not interacted with this candidate at all. I did whatever I could to educate and show to my member how to own that relationship, how to do methodical process calls, how to ask questions, how to keep an eye out for red flags or any obstacles. Everything seems to be okay, with the caveat that the candidate is not the easiest to get a hold of. So I'm gonna chat with him a little bit later today. I'm gonna make it crystal clear of my expectations of working with him, that he needs to be responsive and accessible, especially now that we're at the offer. I'm gonna do a process call, uncover additional insights just for myself to have added context, and then I'll go ahead and verbally extend the offer. And who knows, he could verbally accept on the spot. That would be obviously fantastic, but because the offer is a little bit on the lower end, I don't think that's gonna happen. I expect some sort of going back and forth with negotiation. Again, crazy news. Totally forgot about it because it is Friday when I'm shooting this. We had the interview yesterday and I literally just heard back, got a text right now. So I'm like, oh my God, I need to talk about this. So as you can imagine, a lot of things happening. We got one offer, one more potential offer from this morning, one more candidate who doesn't have an offer, but hopefully moving to a final round. So things are really busy. And out of all 3 deals right now, one of them is for my team, 2 of them are actually for our private members. Again, collaborative, trust-based. I treat and work with you like my team. We'll do whatever we can, think outside the box to get the candidate across the finish line and close that position. Because if you're starting recruiting from square one, you're starting your own agency right now, you don't have any prior recruiting experience, or you only have 1 or 2 years, this is the easiest way to leverage expertise and experience of someone who's been doing it for almost a decade. And you can ramp up your learning curve, you can minimize the chances of you just making unnecessary mistakes, and accelerate and increase the chance of having a highly more probable chance of success at doing placements and making money at the end of the day. The interview right now should be finishing up with another engineer. Hope that goes well. Again, another candidate from our private members, and just fingers crossed that goes well. Like today is just flying and just doing nothing but great news, which is what I like. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. Still got a lot more to do. It's almost about 3 o'clock here at my time. Still kind of midday here. We're just gonna crank it open and keep going. All right. I don't know if you can see, but it is getting darker in here. It is well past 5, and got a couple updates with you. Not the best. So the first interview with the Missouri moving to Florida. So we were hoping the offer would come out today, but not coming out today. If anything, they're crunching numbers today and they'd be coming out early next week. So if I were to make a video about that next week and you want to know what happens, make sure you stay posted and watch. The second interview, we did not hear back from the client about him possibly moving to a final round, even though we heard back from the candidate. Now the offer that with the candidate we had yesterday that we just spoke with right now, we have a big issue. So when we picked up this role, the original range was 130 to 135, and our private member qualified him for that the first time, and the candidate said that's okay, even though it's a little bit on the lower end, I'll consider it, okay? And now he gets an offer. I chatted with him again. I did a process call before I extended the offer. I extracted information and data, and I found out during this that he's right now making about 150, and he's looking for something at least that or higher, and that's 150 base. And immediately when I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, we are way off, because the client offered 125 and a 10% bonus, which gets to 137. And in an ideal scenario, right, the candidate wants what he's making or higher. So when I heard this, I had to verbally extend to him. He was obviously not excited. And then he also mentioned that he felt that the interview process went by too fast. So these are a couple things that I would like to share with you. So number one, an interview is kind of like dating, right? Like you don't marry the first woman or guy that you see at the first date. You want to make sure the dating process goes well. It's not too long, not too short. If things are going well, perhaps if you want to propose, you propose, right? You want to do it at the peak momentum, highest probability of the person saying yes. The same thing with interviews, right? So right now the interview went too fast. So he had an interview yesterday, interview today, and he told me that the interview today, he went on site. A couple people weren't there because they were busy, and he was kind of bummed out. And meeting a lot of other members of the team is really important for the candidates. And if they feel like they didn't get a chance to do that, they can't really get a feel of like what life is like if they join the company, because they didn't get to meet as many people. He was also expecting another round where he can meet a couple more people. So when I told him that was the final round, he was surprised, right? And then when I told him the offer, he was even more surprised. This is basically a way of saying you can make sure that you have no surprises if you do really good process calls every time you talk to candidates. After every single interview, you need to talk to them, debrief with them. You need to do a process call. Talk about what went well, what didn't go well, collecting information, interview activity, change in salary. How does the interview process with the client rank with the other competitors? Like you need to go through all of this, because as the candidate goes through the process, you want to collect the same information over and over and over again to make sure if things are same or if things have changed. If things have changed, if it's within your power, you can change it. You can relay that information back to the client. They can accelerate, they can change, they can answer questions, they can increase the offer. So that if an offer comes out, you want to make sure it's aligned or close to the target for the candidate as much as possible. Oh man, it's not that easy. So my client is a fast growing startup, and my candidate is working at a larger company. Obviously, larger companies pay a lot better. And so when you are talking to a candidate, working at a bigger company and they're considering joining a small company, a lot of smaller companies can't compete salary-wise, right? Financially with big companies. So number one, you have to remind candidates of that. And number two, you have to really focus on the non-financial aspects, like their growth. They're coming in literally at the perfect time where they can grow so much. They can, have ownership of their team and the product. Like these are the things you constantly want to drill and talk about with the candidate so that they're not so much focused on the salary. Obviously, everyone wants to make more or minimum at the same, but many are also willing to take a little bit of a cut because they know the bigger picture. In situations like that, that's what we have to do. We have to go over the bigger picture. And at the same time, I need to go back to the recruiter with this relationship, and I need them to come up close to 150 as much as possible. I don't think, honestly, they'd be able to get to even 140. I think if they're able to come to 130, 135, that's maybe closer to 150 all in. But candidate's already making that salary, not even including bonus. And so I think honestly, the way I'm reading this is a long shot. And the way that I can help my groups is I'm gonna do further deep dive trainings with my whole group about this, how to conduct and manage interviews, the whole process with the candidates effectively, how to do process calls, how to do negotiations, how to really paint that picture with the candidates, because that's really, 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 really important. Because if you do that well, if an offer comes out, then there's a very, very strong chance the candidate will accept. So right now, again, no hard feelings to the private members at all. I think it's really more on me to train and help train my members better. But this is an area where I can totally give value to my community members I will help with. But right now, I'm gonna take hold of it. I'm gonna drive everything. I'm gonna try to negotiate, get them up as high as possible. I just heard back, filming this right now, from the interview that happened about 3 hours ago. Nice. She said it went well. We'll be sending out an assessment to him hopefully today if I submit it in time. If the coordinates are already gone for the weekend, it will go out on Monday. Fantastic. Out of all the interviews, went fantastically well today. The only little bit of a surprise is what we call the offer and the interview process, but that will be rectified once I sync up with my members on their weekly calls, and we'll go through a proper training session there. So I think that's very, very important. Yeah, I guess I was hoping to kind of share this, end this day with you with an offer. We do have an offer, but the chance that this will be accepted, I think, is tough. And the chance of another offer going out, again, not gonna happen today, probably gonna happen early next week. So if I do another week in life, I will include that. But again, it's just back and forth, strategizing, thinking outside the box, working with our members and their teams, and doing whatever we can to get the job done, because this is what we do. Even in the evening and Friday, I'm not done yet, probably gonna work a couple more hours, and then I can finally enjoy my weekend. But this has been an action-packed day. Nevertheless, grateful that I'm doing what I'm doing right now, and grateful for our members to be able to provide candidates that have made it to the offer round. And we're gonna work together and make sure that we're all in sync and we can manage the interview process better. And then the chances of offers collectively across the board will be higher overall with just acceptance rates, which is exactly what we want to do. So all in all, great week. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you want to support this channel, feel free to cop out some awesome merch coming in some pretty sweet colors here. If you have questions about my community and my groups, feel free to reach out to me on Discord or Instagram or email me. More than happy to set up a chat, answer any questions. Again, if the spots get filled, they get filled. I'm not sure if we're gonna reopen spots. It's not our intention to make this big at all. We want to be working with a really good group where we can just crush it together. But anyway, happy to call it a week. The first week back 2024. We have one possible offer, which is fantastic. So now I just need to close, rinse and repeat, enjoy the weekend. I'm absolutely spent, but energy and adrenaline is still high, and I appreciate your attention, and we'll see you on, as always, the next one.